morning, everyone. This is the Insignificant Stoic. This video follows immediately after we really need to look at Zeno's categories in the History of Stoicism playlist. In that video, I had mentioned that we need to look at the way Zeno divided up his philosophy in order for us to understand later Stoicism, or developed Stoicism, as it passed from the Greeks to the Romans and onward. And also to give us some insight and clear understandings of what's actually going on in some of the Stoic writers, like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. Before we actually do look at how Zeno divided his philosophy, we have to understand some basic concepts of philosophy, and we have to understand a few terms. So that's what this video is really going to be about. The first thing we have to understand is that a philosophy is an intellectualization of life, the universe, and everything. That is obviously, a joke from Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But in that satire, he's actually playing with really, really significant questions that have, been foremost on people's minds for thousands of years. What is the meaning of life? Philosophy in general is, I don't know if it specifically said what is the meaning of life or the purpose necessarily. But it did try to answer on the ground anyway for your average person, and this is where Stoicism has an appeal to a lot of people, was what is the right way to live? So that very question creates sort of a dialectic in a way. If there's a right way to live, then there's a wrong way to live, and what determines whether it's a right way to live or a wrong way to live is dependent upon your understanding of life. For the Stoics, to live according to nature. Nature was the thing that told you the difference between right and wrong in the way you live. The acting out of virtue, to live according to reason. Well, reason, nature, virtue, what the heck are they? Where do they come from? Well, philosophy, especially in the Stoics, attempts to answer those questions. And it does it by formulating a concept or an intellectual concept of life. It begins with, and this is where the first of our divisions, a cosmology. Cosmology is what this is, what the universe is, what the earth, the stars, animals, man, what is all that stuff? Within that lies a metaphysics, which is really a more granularized, more defined kind of representation of that. So it starts with, what is the universe? What is the cosmos? Just so we understand, the word cosmos in the Greek concept means chaos and order. They believed that in some of their traditions, folkloric or even in some philosophical traditions, or even just general historical, mythological traditions, that the cosmos was an absolute chaos, and something had to put that chaos in order. So you have your philosophy deals with that. What is all this stuff? Logos really is another section, and I'm introducing that term now so we can get used to it. Logos, at its most literal, is just like logic, right? It also means like the rationale or reason. That describes how everything within this cosmos works. It's the logic behind the system of the cosmos. Gravity, cause and effect, uh, sound, music. It's the rationale behind everything. It's the logic behind everything. So we have two main categories now. You have ontology, what is all this stuff. You have the logos or logic, which is the rationale behind how all this stuff works and everything else. And then you have, for the most part, you have a ethic. And in ethics, we have how to live within this ontology, how to live within this cosmos, according to the logic, the logos, the reasoning behind it. So, in other words, in these three parts, ontology, logos, and ethics, we have what everything is, how it works, with the logic behind it. And from that, the Stoics are able to derive, and other philosophers, how to live in it, how to have a right life according to that system. Well, the thing is, depending on what your cosmology is, depending on what your logic is, your ethic is going to be different. So, those three basic divisions of philosophy, ontology, cosmology, logic, and ethics, are extremely important because that will answer the question that every person had on the street. How do I live? What's the best way to live? So we have to understand, first of all, and this is just a summary, philosophy is divided into different divisions that, in the main, deal with the cosmos, how it works, the logic, the reason behind all this stuff working, and that then informs the person and his ethics how to live to give him the right way of life. That's just generally speaking. Various philosophies divide those things into more or less categories. It can get very refined, very granular. Stoicism isn't at that point yet as we look at Zeno, but I just want you to understand for now, those are the three major divisions of a philosophy, and philosophy is divided into those three basic divisions, and that one informs the other. They're all related. If you think about it, they're all related. A couple of terms I want to sort of introduce you to, and if once you hear them, you'll understand what they are. The Greek words theoria, theory, right, and praxis. Praxis is what? Practice. So you have theory and practice. So what you have then is a generalization, a general distinction between the theoretical part of a philosophy, which in this case, what I just described, would be cosmology and logic, and praxis, or the practice, which is the ethic, which is the Stoic stories, which is the stuff that Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus write about. How to live. It's the answer to that question. How do I live? What's the right way to live according to this intellectualization or this concept of the cosmos? So that's it for today. The next video, we will be taking a closer look at Zeno and the divisions of Stoicism. Have a good day.